What if some of the things you say to God in prayer are revealing a belief that is keeping you from trusting Him? They sound humble, honest, even spiritual. But one may be hiding fear, doubt, bargaining, or hopelessness behind your prayer. Today we are exposing 6 phrases Christians say to God that can quietly affect the way we see His grace, His power, and His will. And number 6 is the phrase people often say right before they give up. So listen carefully. You may recognize yourself in one of these. Number 1, I'm not worthy. It sounds like humility. None of us can earn God's love. But there is a difference between knowing you need grace and believing your failures make you unworthy of approaching God. Romans 5:8 says, God demonstrated His love for us while we were still sinners. Jesus did not wait for you to become worthy. He came when you were broken and unable to save yourself. So when you constantly tell God, I am not worthy, be careful that humility does not become distance. You approach because Christ made a way. Instead, pray, Lord, I could never earn your grace, but I thank you that Jesus made a way for me to come to you. Your failures are not bigger than His grace. Number 2, why won't you help me? Pain can make you say this. You prayed. You waited. Nothing changed, and the silence seemed even louder. Then frustration becomes, God, why won't you help me? But there is a difference between crying out to God in pain and deciding that His silence means He has abandoned you. Hebrews 13:5 says, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. You may not see what God is doing, but that does not mean He is doing nothing. Job lost almost everything and asked difficult questions, yet when God revealed Himself, His presence was greater than the answers Job wanted. So instead of only asking, why won't you help me? Pray, Lord, open my eyes to see your hand, even when I cannot understand your plan. Number 3, I will serve you if. Lord, if you heal me, I will serve you. If you give me that job, I will change. If you fix my finances, I will obey. These words can sound like faith, but they can become bargaining. You are placing conditions on your obedience. God is not someone we negotiate with. True faith says, God, I want you to change this situation, but even before you do, I choose to trust you. Your relationship with God cannot become a transaction where obedience is traded for a blessing. Jacob once spoke to God in conditional terms, but God's plan was never about making a deal with him. God was shaping him. Number 4, God knows I am weak. Yes, He does. He knows every weakness, temptation, and habit you keep defending. But do not turn God's understanding of your weakness into an excuse to remain unchanged. Romans 6 asks whether we should continue in sin because grace increases, and the answer is, by no means. Grace is not permission to stay trapped. It is God's power working in you to become different. You can tell God, I am weak, without saying, therefore I will never change. Bring the weakness to Him. Ask for strength. Take the next step. Your struggle does not mean transformation is impossible. Number 5, this cannot be God's will. Sometimes it is wisdom, but sometimes it is fear, pretending to be discernment. God gives you a direction, but the path looks uncomfortable or costly, so you decide, this cannot be God's will. Think about Jonah. God clearly told him to go to Nineveh, but Jonah did not want the assignment, so he ran in the opposite direction. The problem was not that God's will was unclear. Jonah simply did not want the path God gave him. So do not automatically call something not God's will, because it is difficult. Test it against God's word. Pray, seek godly counsel, and obey when the direction becomes clear. Sometimes the road that scares you is the road where your faith grows. Number 6, I have done everything I can, Lord. This can sound like surrender, but sometimes it is hopelessness. There is a difference between saying, God, I have done my part, and now I trust you, and saying, I have tried everything, so nothing can change. One is faith, the other has already decided the outcome. Think about Lazarus. By the time Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. Humanly, the situation was finished. But Jesus walked into a situation everyone had already declared impossible and called Lazarus out of the tomb. Ephesians 3:20 says, God is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. You may have reached the end of what you can do, but that does not mean God has reached the end of what He can do. So remember the 6 phrases, I am not worthy. Why won't you help me? I will serve you if. God knows I am weak. This cannot be God's will. I have done everything I can. These are not magic words that automatically block God's blessings. The deeper issue is what they reveal about your heart. Do you believe His grace is enough? Do you trust Him when you cannot see His hand? Are you obeying without bargaining? Are you bringing weakness to Him instead of hiding behind it? Can you keep believing when you reach your limit? Your words matter because they reveal what you believe. So speak to God honestly, but let your honesty lead you toward faith. Say, well, Lord, I need your grace. Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you. Lord, I am weak, so strengthen me. Lord, if you are leading me, give me courage to obey. And when you reach the end of yourself, don't assume you have reached the end of God's power, because sometimes the prayer that needs to change is not the prayer asking God to change your situation. It is the prayer revealing how you see Him. If this message spoke to you, comment, I choose faith over fear. Share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to BibleClarity for more biblical truths that strengthen your walk with God.